Hey guys, I'm back. So after I rode the Ninja 250, I rode the Ninja 650R. And I liked it and I didn't like it. There were a couple of things that were somewhat annoying. Other things were absolutely fantastic. It's a fantastic bike. If you are a beginner, it's still easy enough to ride for a beginner that I think you could probably start with that. If you've had any kind of motorcycle experience at all, I would probably recommend you start with the Ninja 650R. Not a crotch rocket. It's got almost a completely standard riding position. Very comfortable. Plenty of power. I mean, that was the thing. I got on that thing, and once the engine starts spinning over 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, it pulls really well. That was my disappointment, though, was that below that, not that it was slow, but the engine was it vibrated, not badly, but the mirrors were buzzing, and I thought in the lower RPM range that the engine could have been a little smoother. That being said, I didn't notice any buzzing really in the handlebars. It was mostly in the mirrors, and you could tell it wasn't quite as refined. It's a parallel twin 650. And I didn't really notice it with the Ninja 250. But see, the thing with the Ninja 250 is you're almost always over 6,000 or 7,000 RPM. So, I guess that's maybe, I don't know whether it's a symptom of it being a parallel twin. I don't know. It would not stop me from buying the bike. It was fantastic. It rode great. Plenty of, like I said, over 6,000 or 7,000 revs. And it pulled really well. Fuel injected. It's reasonably priced. Looks good. Gets good mileage. Ergonomics are great. I thought it was very comfortable. Again, I said it looks good. I thought even the stock pipes sounded pretty good. So I would highly recommend the Ninja 650R as a good either beginner or intermediate bike. If you've got some experience riding, I'd say go for the Ninja 650R. Because it has enough power that, I mean, you're not. I don't think you would ever really feel like it was inadequate. I mean, you do got to rev it a little bit to get that maximum power. Like I said, 6,000 or 7,000 revs. But okay, now on to the big boys. After that, I got to ride the all new for 2010, or I'm sorry, that one isn't new, all new. The Z1000. It is a naked version of the Ninja 1000 that is brand new in 2010. The naked version of that, it's missing the side fairings. The riding position is very slightly different. The bars are different. Torque curve, the engine, it's the same engine, but it's been tuned for a little more low end power, and I liked it quite a lot. It'll inline 4-cylinder, 1,000 cc's. I believe it's putting about 125 horsepower to the rear wheel, 122, 125, something like that. And let me tell you what, it'll rip your fucking arms off. Again, a pretty standard riding position. It's not a crotch rocket. So if you guys, you're getting a little older, problems with the wrists and the elbows, and you can't ride with your, arms below your ankles anymore, definitely look at the Z1000 or the Ninja 1000. So I got to ride that one. Rode fantastic. It didn't feel heavy. great power. Power was everywhere. Anything over 2,000 RPM, and it would pull very well. Above 5,000 or 6,000 RPM, and it just, holy fuck. Just, I've never ridden really anything quite that powerful. Some of the Triumphs I've ridden we're putting about 100 horsepower to the wheel, but I've never ridden anything quite that fast. So I rode that, and then I rode the Ninja 1000. And I think I liked it a little bit better. It looks a little better. It's considered almost a sport touring because you can take the passenger has handles to hold on to, which they'll need. I believe you take those off and you can put hard bags, color coordinated hard bags on the side of it, and look it up on the internet. Google 2010 Ninja 1000, and yeah, I mean it really is almost a sport touring. Just phenomenal machine. I could tell that the Z1000 did have a little more low-end power. You could tell that. It pulled a little better from low RPM than the Ninja 1000, but it was very slight difference. I saw recently that the Ninja 1000 was given like 2011 Motorcycle of the Year or something. Motorcycle.com or some rating agency, and I can believe it. You know, it's fast, it handles pretty good, but yet you could ride it for hours and not be fatigued, which is really nice. So that was my weekend. Here I am driving a truck talking about motorcycles. I know that's kind of weird. What else is going on? We had an earthquake, as did most of the East Coast. I didn't feel it. I was up in Waukesha, Wisconsin at the time, and nobody I know felt it. So they evacuated a couple of buildings downtown. I'm trying to think if anything's going on truck related. Other than my schedule sucks as usual and I'm tired as usual. I love my job in some ways, and in some ways, man, it's really wearing on me. It's variable schedule, you know, not starting at the same time every day. It wears on you pretty quick. You know, wife and I are thinking about moving. We're gonna head out of town. Gonna be taking vacation. And I'm going to go visit the city we're thinking about moving to. Check it out. I kind of joked with the wife, if we're going to get down there, we're going to look at apartments and see what the job scene is. And I kind of told her that, kind of jokingly and kind of not jokingly, that, you know, if I get down there and I find a sweet, you know, great job driving a truck or otherwise, maybe I won't come back. And she kind of had the same attitude. You know, her job kind of sucks, and I mean, it doesn't pay bad, but it's not a pleasant job, and she's kind of feels underappreciated, you know. So we get down there. Obviously, we would come back to straighten out our affairs up here, but onto the political scene. What do you guys think about any of the candidates so far? I've been keeping up on him with it a little bit. Seems like Rick Perry from Texas is kind of charging along right now. I'll have to do a little more research on him. He's very well liked in Texas. Seems to run the state pretty well. But something that's kind of been bothering me, you know, now they're talking about, he's talking about anti-abortion rules and things, and while I don't really like abortion, it kind of bothers me morally. I'm also of the opinion that I'm not sure I have the right to tell somebody else what they think should be right. I know that's a controversial issue, but what I would really, really like to see a candidate do is stay the hell away from the moral issues. You know, we're in the middle of a recession. Millions of people have no jobs. I really wish, this is the whole problem with our federal government. They keep sticking their fucking nose in people's personal business instead of doing what they're supposed to do. And it gets in the way. You know, Obama and the Democrats spent the first 2 years in office screwing around with health care and, financial reform while we're running around with 10% unemployment practically. And it seems to me, should have done it the other way around, guy. Concentrate on the jobs. If he had got the unemployment rate, in the first 2 years, back down to 5 or 6%, they could have done any damn thing they wanted. They'd have been like gods. But instead, they mucked around for 2 years with health care. You know what? Nobody gives a shit about health care coverage when you're fucking unemployed. Just, really stupid. And it's the one thing I've heard about Rick Perry is that I heard some talk about him supporting anti-abortion regulations, and it's like, stay out of our fucking lives. Work on the jobs, work on the economy, military defense, fix the highways, and leave us the hell alone. Same thing with gay marriage. It's like, do I think it's kind of odd? Yeah, certainly. But who am I to tell somebody else about their personal life? What two people do alone in the privacy of their own home is between them, not me and not the fucking government. I really wish these politicians would stay away from the moral issues. Moral issues like that, okay, that, where half the country feels one way and half the country feels the other way. You're not going to accomplish anything other than divide everyone up. And I think they use it as a cover so that way they don't have to actually face the real issues of the country. Like, how are you going to fix the economy? How are we going to get the unemployment rate down? What are we going to do about the Middle East? What are we going to do about this? What do we, there's all kinds of problems in this country. And instead of concentrating on those problems, we're going to talk about abortion and gay marriage. Again, and again, and again, and get absolutely nothing done. I don't know how many of you guys are Ron Paul supporters, but I tell you what, he's a bit of an oddball in some ways, but a lot of what he says makes sense. Government needs to stay out of these things. These things are states' rights issues. If Texas wants to pass an anti-abortion law, I think they're well within their rights to do that. I might disagree with it, but I don't live in Texas, and I can move out of Texas if I disagree. That's why we are a republic of states, not, one large country. Because the people that live in New York City don't feel the same way about things that the people live in Arizona or North Dakota or Miami, or San Antonio, or San Diego, or Alaska. And this is why the federal government needs to stay out of these things, because there are too many differing ideas throughout the country, and these things need to be handed back to the states. The state of Texas wants to outlaw abortion. That should be their right. They want to outlaw gay marriage. That should be their right. And let the people that live in that state make that choice at the ballot box or by who they elect to their legislatures. If California wants to make all those things legal, hey, fine. But the federal government needs to stay the hell out of our business. Okay, guys, coming up on 15 minutes. I'm going to shut it off and start it again.